Welcome to the Reality Check podcast, episode 9, on pregnancy, anti-anxiety and mindfulness. I have a special guest on today, my wife, Maria Phillips, who'll be sharing her unique perspective on a birth experience, as well as on meditation and mindfulness in general. So before we get into it, I'd like to give you a bit of a brief history. We met in year 9, and I can't remember the class, neither of us can, but we were quite flirty. I remember thinking of you being quite unique and different to a lot of the other people there, and it's fairly cliche, but you basically were, so welcome, Maria.
Thank you.
Suffice to say, we're both, or I was at least, fairly shy in that class, and I didn't take it further. I was too afraid to ask you out or do anything, and I, just kept to the flirty, and then serves me right because you moved away at the end of that year, and I didn't hear about you for a while. We actually both have a fairly similar story. After that, both of us moved out of home, about 15, 16-year-old, and your parents actually left the country to return back to Russia. Yeah. And you stayed here on your own or with friends, but no family members. Yeah. And we'll definitely go into that in a later episode.
Sure.
Anyway, about 6 years ago, Facebook and MSN, if you remember that, messages caused us to eventually catch up and we got together. Now, obviously I really care for you and all that sort of jazz. And for those that don't know, I've got a full back tattoo. It's basically, there's a tree in the middle, and on one side it's black and white, nighttime scenes and sort of deathly. And on the other side it's coloured and daylight and life.
Yeah.
And I put it down to the changing thought patterns that have occurred over the time we've been together.
Yeah.
And it's not just you, but a lot of it is has been your influence, and it's helped me it sort of represents the change in my mental state.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's quite a big dichotomy, and it's more complicated than that, but it sort of represents that change. And I suppose one of the main lessons that you've taught me is, I suppose the best representation is the cliche, stop and smell the roses.
Yeah.
I remember for ages, well, it still happens, I'll be ruminating or in my head or just talking about something and I just wouldn't be present. And you would sort of always highlight something that was happening around us in the moment. So we'd be walking and you would point out the moon or the sunset, or I remember a caterpillar just eating. And then we would sit and watch and talk about it. And it did a couple of things. It made me realize that I'd not really been present to a lot of my life.
Yeah. And
it also helped me to get out of my head and into that moment. It's something that I've tried to do. And I've noticed myself that I would do that to you when you're in your head.
You do that now.
We sort of try to play that back and forth, but it's a very good lesson to me that when I'm feeling anxious and stressed is just to try and be present in the moment. And that's something that I really am grateful for your.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about is, first of all, inform everyone that we've just had our firstborn child has just been born, Archie Jack Phillips. Very happy and healthy.
Yeah.
It was one of the most intense experiences of my life, and I'm sure yours too.
Absolutely, yeah.
But surprisingly, to me at least, the birth process sort of disproved every cliche of pregnancy that I've found.
It really did.
It really did. Everyone was saying all of these horrible things that would happen and all of these anxieties, and not everyone, a lot of people just put all of their stories this. I don't know if you noticed it, but every person you spoke to obviously has gone through, or most females have gone through a birth experience, and they're talking about their trauma. Yeah. Not necessarily trauma, but their experience, and they'll say, hey, this happened, this happened, this happened. And I don't really want to, I want to talk about the birth experience not as a birthing experience, but as an experience of a traumatic or significant or intense experience itself. Yeah. So everyone's gone through this experience, and it's fairly traumatic, obviously. And it's in modern life, we don't experience much significant trauma.
No, I've never been in pain before.
Never been in pain. Yeah. And we might never be in a car crash. It's rare to see violence. So it's a common extreme experience that we all have. Yeah. So it's burnt into our memories. So what I found is both mothers and fathers will share everything. Some of it good, some of it bad. But what I found is that your experience, or what we experienced together, was quite a lot different to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, some of it is obviously luck, but I do put a lot of it down to preparation and your disposition.
Yeah.
And, you know, prior to the pregnancy, prior to everything, you've had a steady meditation practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which gives you quite a calm and mindful disposition, although you'll say that you've got a lot of anxiety and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, sometimes I do on the inside, but it doesn't show, obviously.
It might not show. So, to put it in perspective, we arrived at the hospital after, we thought we were going into labour. We got to the hospital and the midwives looked at you and basically didn't believe that anything was happening.
Yeah.
And share what happened.
Oh, I was in pre-labour for 2 days, and and then I thought it was time to go to the hospital, and the midwives were like, "No, you're not in labour. You need to go home and take a Panadol, and you're probably going to be like this for another 2 days, and you're fine." And I was like, "No, I don't think I'm fine. I think I'm going to have this baby."
So she was saying that, but externally she looked very, very calm.
Yeah, apparently I looked a lot calmer than I thought.
So suffice to say, 6 hours later, the baby was out.
Yeah, yep, born 6 hours later after they said go home and take a Panadol.
Expect you in 2 days.
Yeah.
Now, so I have a fear that talking about this, people listening will be like, "Oh, well, you're lucky, And I'm sure some of it is luck.
Yeah.
But let's talk about your meditation practice in general, and then what we did for preparation for this expected traumatic experience. So just, if you can, just give a brief summary of what you do maybe daily or your general mindset.
I try and take some time daily, at least some mindful reflection, I guess, or meditation. And I've been trying to do that probably since I was 12.
What would that involve, like, specifically?
Basically focusing on breathing and coming into the moment and just trying to find that quiet place inside you where you're not in your head anxious, but you're calm inside. There is a calm place inside everyone that if you find it, it can really help deal with a lot of problems. So, I mean, some days I'm a lot better at it than other days, but
it's a practice. It's not a perfection.
Yeah, you have to keep trying. Which I think is why everyone always thinks I'm so calm, because even if I feel stressed, I'm trying to find that place inside me. So that's what people can see.
Do you do it as a daily, like, in this particular time, or is it more in response to an event?
It's both. There's times when I set time aside for it, which is very good to do, and sometimes you get too busy and you don't do it. But it's also, part of it is actually trying to do it when you are stressed or when you're in the moment of stress.
Yeah.
And when something happens, that's when you actually need to go and do it as well.
So what would you do then?
Same, just sort of look inside, do some deep breaths, try and find that quiet place inside you. You can use like some words that help calm you down.
Like a mantra or a prayer or something similar.
Yeah, anything that suits, or you can even just say to yourself, I am calm, or I've got this, or, whatever it takes to get you back in control of your anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in preparation for the birth
itself,
we did quite a few things.
Yes, we did.
The main one was going through a calm birth. Now that's a program that's...
Yeah, it's a type of hypnobirthing. It's a birth class that teaches you to be calm and in control while you're in labour, and to use breathing techniques to help the baby to come out, basically.
So I'll put some links in so you can read about this yourself, but I found some benefit to it. Basically every night we would listen to a sort of guided meditation.
Yeah,
and
it's quite long. It's 20 to 40 minutes long.
20 to 30 minutes long. Yeah. The first half was sort of getting you into the moment, and then it sort of started talking about the birth process.
Yeah, and one of them, the really long one, is just a birth preparation. So the idea that you go through the birth in your head over and over again, and it's a calm experience in your head. And so when the real thing happens, you're so prepared in your head that the body already sort of knows what to do, or you're ready for it.
I remember you saying that after it happened during the pregnancy or during the birth, you were sort of You're
during the labour.
During the labour, you knew what was happening because you've been talked through this process over and over again.
Yeah.
And that helped.
Part of that was the education as well, which was part of the birth class too, knowing exactly what's going on with your body at the time.
Yeah.
As well.
Could you see a benefit in this process, like sort of external to the birth? So since then, we've actually taken those meditations and cut them to take out the birth part.
Yeah.
So can you see a benefit in guided meditation for sort of dealing with just general life stress?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I really, it's sort of, I guess, showing me how important it is, because it's guided meditation, something I've probably done not a huge amount of before.
Yeah, I personally have an issue with it until this birth process sort of proved it.
I didn't realise how strong it was as well.
Exactly. I found that for me personally, I feel like a guided meditation is almost like I'm worried that, I'm worried that it's doing what it's going to do, and it's more like I'm letting someone external to me change me. Yes. And obviously that's what it's designed for, but I'm a bit cagey or a bit hesitant to that. A bit untrustful to let someone in, but
it also it's hard to believe it's really going to work, isn't it? Some person just talking to you, making random sounds.
I think something you said to me is try something for, say, 2 weeks. Yeah. And
see if it helps.
So I'm looking for myself sort of a guided meditations that are more suitable to me or that sort of stuff, but I've definitely found some benefit in this. So from listening to these CDs, I noticed these meditations, I've noticed there's 3 components to it. Yep. There's a education, like they sort of teach you what's happening. Mm-hmm. They help you to detach or escape from, or teach you how to do that in the moment. Yep. And obviously there's a meditation aspect.
Yeah.
So focusing on the education aspect, I feel like the fact that we knew, this would happen, then this would happen, then this would happen.
Yeah.
Helped you to overcome the anxiety. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah, because things are happening to your body in labour that you could very easily have a big panic attack about. But if you are pre-prepared and you know, like, okay, the next step is this, then when that next step happens, you go, it doesn't feel good, but I know that this is actually on the right path of where we're going.
The knowledge of what's going to happen gave you the power and the understanding that it's normal.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when it was all in the big throw of things, you were saying out loud just once, you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah, that was transition.
But in your mind, you said that you recognised that was happening. So there's almost 2 parts of you. Like externally you were saying something, but there was a part of you internally that going, oh, I know what's happening, and that's fine.
That was like the detached part of me that was sort of watching, and then there was the part of me that was feeling it all, that was saying I can't do this, but then the detached part was like, oh cool, I'm going through a transition, that means I'm nearly there.
Fair enough. I think it's I think the idea of educating yourself in general, like for me, on my side of things, I was watching it happening and I'm like, okay, this is happening. And
it really helped you to support me as well.
Exactly. The other thing I found was having someone calm, or having myself there, knowing what was happening and just saying this is normal. And I knew it was normal, and you were looking at me like a sponge. If I was acting, if I seemed scared or unsure, you would take that on.
I would have let fear in as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think
that's another part of it actually that's worth mentioning. With the calm birth, it's about not letting fear into the experience. So that was big. So
it was having that. So it was a combination of the general practice, teaching you to be able to detach from it during it, and the education of what's happening, as well as a supporting environment.
Yes.
So my question is this is all well and good for a birth, which is I've got this planned significant experience.
Yeah, sure.
How do you think this whole process will help you, or could help you, to deal with, the general life stress, for one, and also facing a future trauma experience?
Well, general life, I've already been using it, like, since he was born, the last 2 weeks, when I feel stressed. Going back to the breathing techniques and even putting those same meditations on, because the baby heard them in the womb and I've been listening to them for months. It's sort of helping me deal with stress in day to day.
What if you had to face another traumatic event?
Well, I think I'd be able to, like, draw on those skills I learnt from the birth and hopefully go into that space again and just use the breathing. The breathing's a really big one as well. It just helps to center you and calm you. So if you can remember to do that when you are going through another trauma, then you would deal with it a lot better.
So it's helped to give you a skill set to deal with.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. And she even said that in the class. She said, this isn't just about your labour, this is about life skills.
Life skills afterwards. You said something earlier saying, I've never felt pain.
Yeah, you don't.
Can you extend upon that?
Well, I've always been very lucky with my health and body, and, you know, part of that's looking after myself, and my parents had a value of health, so they would, I guess, in what way they can, try to avoid me getting sick, but also I then took that on and, you know, I try and look after myself, and I've never really been sick. When I first came to Australia, I had like a really bad tummy bug that I was in hospital for, and that hurt a bit, but it really wasn't that bad. And, you know, I've never had a broken bone. I mean, you know, touch wood, but I've never been sick. You know, I've never been in pain. So this is the first time that I actually have to deal with it.
I've heard it said on the Jocko Willink podcast. He basically would read stories about war, and at the end he said, you know, if you've got a problem, realize that you've never been hungry, you've never been tired, you've never felt pain.
No, I haven't. I actually haven't.
And it
you
sort
think
of
you have, but you haven't. Like,
it put things into perspective for you. And then like I was watching you, and I'm like, man, I've never seen anything like this. So do you think that moving forward, let's say you do get a broken bone, and like who knows what the relative pain will be, but in my mind it feels like it'll give you a perspective. It's like, well, this is bad, but it wasn't as intense as that previous experience.
Hopefully,
give you some detachment to that.
Apparently there are some illnesses that hurt as bad as childbirth, so hopefully we won't go back there.
Fair enough. Okay, so what I wanted to do is now that you're here, I'll get your help. So just so everyone knows, I've been putting out some 1-minute videos on my social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Yep. That are like 1-minute insight videos of either talking about things that have helped me or talking about my story. I've also put out a blog and obviously this podcast, as well as I've released a book, and all of those things together have generated a bit of response. And people have asked some questions, so I'm wanting to get to that. So if maybe you can read a couple of questions.
Questions. Okay. So number 1, reading your story, it's clear that you've gone through some intense experiences. So what made you want to share those experiences with the world? So
for those who don't know, my father was a drug dealer and an addict, and it was a fairly intense environment. And dealing with that, you know, when I was growing up, it felt fairly normal to me. I wasn't aware. I thought everyone's father was
of course,
a drug dealer. I thought that was normal, and then obviously it wasn't. And you know, in that environment, he never did anything sort of. He never abused me. He never abused me directly. He neglected me. But there was issues with the people that came into his house, his clientele.
Of course,
And I'm not 100% sure what exactly happened, but I know that I'm working through it.
Of course.
And I found that basically in society, no one really talks. I mean, it's starting to get a bit more talked about, but I know in my own group and in a lot of groups, it's just not shared. And I found that once I started talking to people, it sort of opened up talking as a possibility. And I realized that a lot of the stuff that I'd went through and the inner processes could be just breached and like gotten through quickly if I provided that outlet to other people. So for me, I found that it took, a 2 years process, as you've seen me writing my whole story. So for those that are interested, I've got it on my website. It's called Under the Influence, Reclaiming My Childhood. And that took me about 2 years to write. And I wrote it because, well, I felt like I had to. But if I was in a more of a place to be able to share it, it would have already been out and already been done. The process of writing it sort of released me from some of the binds of my story. And what I hope is that by sharing my story and putting myself out there, I can actually help people to do the same and sort of get them through, the years of, inner turmoil that I faced quicker.
Before they can share it.
Yeah, so they can just jump them past that so they don't have to deal with the same crap that I dealt with, basically.
That's great.
So, yeah.
All right, well, next question. What's your go-to anxiety killer? So how can I stop an anxiety attack before it becomes extreme?
So I have a few. In terms of go-to killer, I more prefer ongoing sort of doses. Prevention as opposed to cures, but I'll go into both. I try to meditate daily.
Yep.
I do a significant amount of exercise in martial arts, and I try to read, write, and listen to music. Those are the sort of things that keep me sane.
Yeah. Yep. Nurturing your mind.
Yeah, keep myself going. If I get really bad, I have taken antidepressants and I've written about how they made me feel a bit sort of, didn't make me feel bad, it didn't make me feel good, it made me feel sort of average.
Yeah.
Kept me alive. So there's my backups. I try to keep myself sane. If I can't, I'll go to medication.
Yeah.
But that's a last resort for me. But in terms of something happening in the moment, there's a couple of things. I like the idea of getting your body moving. So maybe go for a run.
Yes.
I like the idea of a present state focused meditation. So you'll take a couple of deep breaths and you'll focus on what you can see in the environment. So if you take a breath in, nice and slow out, what can you see? Then you'll go, what can you feel? What can you touch? What can you taste? What can you smell?
Yeah, the five senses.
Yeah, 5 senses. Cycle through that about 3 times. And what that does is you're getting about 15 slow breaths and you're focusing on what's happening now.
I've done that a few times the last 2 weeks.
It takes you into the current moment, makes you mindful, and gets you out of your head.
Yeah.
Now, it won't stop whatever's been going on, but it will hopefully provide a bit of like a bit of temporary release.
Yeah.
It's like putting an ice pack on an inflamed wound. It won't necessarily fix it, but it'll stop the inflammation getting bigger and might give you a bit of a chance to do something about it. Yeah. Sort of a bit of mental first aid.
Yeah.
So I like doing that. Like I said, the runs. I also carry with me, I'm a bit of a weirdo, but I carry with me meditation beats.
Yeah.
And what I do is I just sort of fiddle with them and sort of feel...
There's something to fidget with.
And there's a lot of different things. So I either use it just as a general fidget device, or once again, I'll focus my breath on each of those beats and focus the sensation on that. So it's the same thing as trying to get me out of my mental rumination state and into the present moment.
It's that mindful thing again.
Yeah, it's all a mindful approach. Anyway, yeah.
Okay, well that's great. So we've just got one more question. I'm afraid of my past. I fear that delving into it will open a floodgate of issues that I might not be able to deal with. What should I do?
Okay, so the first thing I'd say to anyone would be, if you're concerned about anything, get professional help. I've seen a psychologist on and off for years now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, exactly. It's just basically talking.
It's so good.
Yeah. Now, a word on psychologists. I've had a few. Some of them really good. Some of them quite shit.
Yeah.
They're just people. So shop around until you can find one that suits you. Because taking advice from me or from other people as your first resource, not necessarily the best. Get some expert help.
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, what was the... It was... it's basically saying... Worried about opening the floodgates.
So maybe this person might not want to go see a psychologist for this very same reason. Because
Fair.
It open the gates.
Good point. I've got a couple of thoughts either way. Yep. If your life's in a good place and you're functioning well, there's an argument in my mind to leave it alone. Okay, you don't have to go into it.
Well, yeah.
So if everything's all going well and you're not facing any issues, it might be best to leave it alone. I was warned before I went down this process that I will uncover things that I wouldn't be happy with, and I did.
Of course.
And so now I realized that I'd had issues with people assaulting me, and you
didn't know before, did you?
I had an inclination, but it sort of really solidified, and I've started to get images coming back, and I've now got that in my mind that I can't take back.
Yeah.
So there is that risk. However, let's assume that things aren't going so great and you think it would help you. Set yourself up. Tell the people close to you that you're going down this path, okay? And let them know I'm going to investigate this. I'm going to look into it and I might need your help and support. Put on your wall different things that will help you or that you know that help you. So for me, I would write up exercise, meditation, friendship, music, etc., so that when I do get bad, I've got those as a default.
Yeah, and you're already staring at them.
I'm already staring at them. They're already there pre-prepared. Have expert help and advice.
Yep.
Okay? And go slow.
Yes.
Okay? Don't just rush into it and go down. Like I said, writing my story took 2 years. And prior to that 2 years, I was doing poetry, and prior to that, I was doing really shitty art. That was, an absolute joke in terms of actual ability, but it was an expression. Got to do something. I mean, take it slow, because there is that risk that if you sort of puncture the dam that is your mind, it'll start flooding out.
I actually, I'm going to make a comment on that.
Yeah,
I think you know when you're ready as well. If your brain's saying to you, oh, I don't know if I'm ready, you probably might not be ready, because I think when you are ready, you'll be like, no, I'm doing this.
So if you're not ready, maybe work on just anti-anxiety, or just general meditation practices to get you into that ready state.
Because if your body's saying to you that it's not ready, then it might not be, and there's no point pushing it as well.
Okay. I think we'll call it there. Yeah. Thank you for coming on. I'll definitely
okay. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thanks for listening. And if you're after more content, I also have a blog that I update regularly, as well as a 1-minute video series where I'll be sharing insights on a variety of topics, including mental health, motivation, psychology, and philosophy. I'm releasing a new video daily. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please do me a massive favour and either review it on iTunes or recommend it to 2 people. Share the link with them and tell them why they would enjoy listening to it. Finally, I'd love to hear from you, so please connect with me on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Zachary P. Phillips. Links to these, as well as anything discussed, are in the show notes. Thanks.